coming at you with the Chapter 16 vocab video. The first word is integument. Integument is a fancy word that means skin. It literally stems from Greek or Latin roots that mean to cover. Integuo means to cover. And that's what the skin and the hair and nails do. They cover your body. They are all part of the integumentary system. Integument, skin. An important protein in the integumentary system is keratin. Keratin is a protein. It's hard and rigid. It's found in your hair and your nails. It's the primary component of those two structures. It's also found in your skin cells, particularly the dead outer surface skin cells. Keratin. Another component of the integumentary system are the sebaceous glands. These are the oil-secreting glands that are found in your skin. They produce sebum. That's the term for the oil that's mixed with things like lysozyme and dead skin cells and even some bacteria all come out of these glands. They are exocrine glands. They secrete things. Lysozyme is one of the things found in those secretions. Lysozyme is also produced in your by your lacrimal glands that produce tears. It's an enzyme that destroys cell walls of bacteria, so it has antimicrobial effects. Lysozyme. When cells have been infected with a virus, you can't see the virus, but if you look at the cells, you can often tell that the cells are diseased or infected by their cytopathic effects. We talked about cytopathic effects several chapters ago, and you saw this word before. Syncytia literally means cells that are fused together, because viruses kind of make the surface of the cells sticky and they end up fusing together. Syncytia are cells that are fused together and that's a sign that they've been infected with a virus. Congenital is a medical term that means that you are born with a condition. So something you're born with, present at birth. Teratogenic is a medical term that means that it can cause birth defects. So a lot of drugs are teratogenic. Thalidomide is the kind of sort of classic textbook example of a teratogenic drug. Alcohol is teratogenic, can cause fetal alcohol syndrome. Pathogens can be teratogenic as well. Classic one would be rubella. Most people are vaccinated for that now, but the sort of modern current one is the Zika virus, which causes microcephaly. Herpes varicella zoster virus has a long hyphenated name, kind of like when two people get married and they keep both of their names. Sort of the same thing happened here. Varicella was the medical term for chicken pox, and herpes zoster was the term for a shingles virus. They were thought to be two separate viruses, two separate diseases, and then in the early 1900s, physicians realized they're actually caused by the same virus. So varicella zoster virus, it's a type of herpes virus. First infection, you usually get chicken pox, and then the virus actually stays in your body. It stays dormant in your nerve cells, and it can reactivate as shingles. It can actually reactivate multiple times. So herpes varicella zoster causes both chicken pox and shingles. Bacillus anthracis is another pathogen. This one is bacterial. It's the causative agent of anthrax. It's a bacillus, a rod. It's gram-positive, and it's an endospore former, so it can be found naturally. Spores of Bacillus anthracis can be found in the soil. It's often found on animal hides. A lot of people who end up with cutaneous anthrax, which is in this chapter, talking about skin infections, are people who work with animal hides, and the spores get into an open wound or a cut and cause cutaneous anthrax. You can also get respiratory anthrax or septic anthrax, which will come up in later chapters. Bacteria, gram-positive, rod, anthrax. Dermatophytes, literally it's a word that means like a plant that grows on the skin. We're not talking about plants, we're talking about fungi. So dermatophytes are fungi that live on your skin, some of which are normal flora, some of which are pathogenic, but if it's a fungus and it grows on your skin, it's called a dermatophyte. Conjunctiva, tomato, not sure which. Anyway, it's part of your eye. It's a mucous membrane that covers your cornea, and it also plays a role in like a lubrication for your eyes. So tears and mucus, when you're sick and you get conjunctivitis and you're like pouring snot out of your eyes, that's from your infected and inflamed conjunctiva. cornea is also part of your eye. It's it's often referred to as the windshield of the eye. It's sort of a hard plate covering of your eyeball. And if you scratch it, it really hurts. And if it gets infected, it's called keratitis, which is a little confusing because it's not really, maybe it's made of keratin. I don't know, I'm going to have to look that up if the cornea is actually made of keratin. But keratitis, a lot of times people think keratin, skin, nail, hairs, so you think keratitis is an infection of your skin, but it's not. It's an infection of your eye. It's inflammation of the cornea. Eyes don't usually get inflamed, though, because your eyes are immune privileged. Your eyes and your brain, because both of those body structures are really sensitive and really important to our basic survival. And when they become inflamed, it really impairs our ability to survive. So they have less inflammation, less innate immunity in your brain and in your eyes, because that inflammation, all those inflammatory cytokines, can actually do permanent damage that can impair your survival. So they are what we call immune privileged. They have the privilege of less inflammation, I guess. The end.